Raptors vs. Cavs, a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals, but this time around, both teams are meeting in the semifinals, and really the question is, do the Raptors even stand a chance? Despite the Cavaliers struggling on the defensive end of the floor post-All-Star break, LeBron James led the Cavs to a 4-0 sweep over Paul George and the Indiana Pacers, and even though the Cavs didn't finish with the top seed in the East, many still consider them as the overwhelming favorite to win the conference and return for a third straight trip to the finals. Now, when the playoffs first started, I actually mentioned that I had the Raptors as my dark horse contender to come out of the East, but after their first round performance against the Greek Freak and the Milwaukee Bucks, there are definitely some things I didn't like. Game 3 in Milwaukee was an absolute travesty. You really can't get away with a 77-point performance like that in the playoffs, especially against a good and well-experienced team like the Cavaliers. It is worth noting that the Raptors did win 3 straight after laying that egg in Game 3, so maybe that's a sign that the Raps have some tough skin and also have the ability to bounce back when their backs are against the wall, but can they really do this against the defending champs? If they're going to win, both the bench and secondary role players like Serge Ibaka and Jonas Valanciunas are going to have to win their individual matchups. Now, they don't gotta win their matchups every night, but they're definitely going to need a game from Serge where he hits like 4 threes and maybe 4 blocks, and another game from Jonas where he grabs 15 to 20 rebounds, and maybe a game from a guy like PJ Tucker or Corey Joseph where they play great individual defense, get a couple steals, and hit timely threes when the defense collapses on DeRozan and Lowry. Now, the biggest X factor for Toronto, in my opinion, is Norman Powell. Why Dwayne Casey decided to not play him in the first few games is really beyond me, but he did eventually put him into the lineup, and boy, did it pay off. Norman Powell is shooting 90%, yeah, you're hearing this correctly, 90% from 3, 10 for 11, while shooting over 50% overall from the floor. He's also playing solid defense and just giving the Raptors some much needed energy and athleticism on the wing, and this is something DeMar Carroll cannot provide. So if Norm can keep up the good play as well as some of the other Raptor role players, then and only then will the Raptors just have a shot at beating the Cavs. I don't think it's going to come down to the 2 stars, that being DeRozan and Lowry, to play well, because last year the Raptors made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and those 2 guys did not play particularly good. So I do think it's going to be a full team effort. They just need one good night from Serge, another good night from Jonas, and a couple of other good nights from these other role players, and then they will have a chance at beating the Cavs. But at the end of the day, Cleveland is still the heavy favorite, and you got to pick them to win. I got the Cavs in 6, but again, it wouldn't surprise me if the Raptors push it to 7 or even win it in 6. But like I talked about earlier, a lot of things have to go right for this to happen. But what do you guys think? Who do you have winning this series? How many games will it take? And am I just overthinking this and the Cavs are just going to sweep them or absolutely blow them out like they did last year? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And remember, anything can happen in the Game 7. But for every other situation, the traction is going to be very consistent, and it might just be the KD9's best feature. The reason why I say might be is because the cushion also performs at an extremely high level with its full-length max zoom air setup that really showcases what the technology has to offer.